What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a very funny story time for y'all. It was sent in to me, and it's about a furry that was in this guy's class that apparently ended up biting the teacher. I know not all furries are running around biting people. That being said, when I hear about someone being this cringe, you know I have to make a video about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the person who sent this in to me didn't really know a whole lot about most of their classmates, which, I'm not gonna lie, is probably the ideal way to do it. I'm not saying you should ever go out of your way to be antisocial or anything, but like, if you know every single person in every one of your class's backstory, you're probably a little bit too nosy for your own good, or you think you're living in a movie. But there was one classmate in particular in one of his classes that he had to know a lot about, because they were the type of person that was just constantly updating everyone on everything going on in their life. And it just so happened that this person was a furry. And I know it's become a lot more common now, and like, I know not every furry is an insane weirdo. If for whatever reason you're watching this and you're starting to get mad or whatever, then like, just realize there's probably people out there that are furries that aren't super cringe, crazy weirdos. I don't know where they are. Those stories don't get sent in to me. It's not like I met a very normal person is a funny story time. So just keep that in mind. This particular person was a furry who was super cringe. And they were one of those people who didn't even like keep that level of reasoning of, oh, I'm dressing up as an animal. Like they genuinely thought that they had the species of an animal. And this person in particular would always talk about how they were a wolf soul and they accidentally were a wolf soul put into a human body. In whatever, even if you really like animals, you do have to understand that we're not in an anime, alright? It's not like you can be out here with the soul of a cheetah. I don't think that's really how it works. Maybe I'm wrong, but the idea that you're running around like, I have the soul of a parakeet, like, what does that even mean, bro? But this person was convinced that they should have been a wolf, and by being a human, they just weren't living up to their full potential, blah, 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 blah. Which, whatever, if you want to believe that and mind your business, then, like, that's up to you, man. I guess I can't tell you not to think you're a wolf, and if you're minding your business, not hurting anyone, that's your right. Like, welcome to America, you can do what you want. But one thing that was very frustrating is they would do, like, dog things to their classmates that were not necessarily normal. For example, whenever there was a new student, they would, like, go up to the new person and start sniffing them, which is just very unnerving, especially if you don't know this person at all. Even if I knew you relatively well, if you walked up to me and started like intensely sniffing me, I might be a little bit uncomfortable. I think anyone would be in that situation. You're like, yo, what's up, man? Long time no see. And they're like, hey. Oh yeah, baby, you smell delicious. But like he would sniff the new kids, and when the new kids would be like, what are you doing? Why are you sniffing me? He would explain, oh, I'm a wolf. As if that just magically explains it. You know, a stranger sniffing you. Oh, I'm a wolf. Oh, why didn't you just say so? And they would still be like, please don't sniff me. And he would say that if he didn't get to sniff them, then he would find them threatening from then on. Which is kind of threatening someone in and of itself. Like, let me sniff you or I'm gonna think you're a threat is a very weird threat to make them let you sniff them. But whatever, it was just stuff like that. And on top of it, like, they would do this thing where they would start talking in the middle of class. Like, hypothetically, you're in class and the teacher says, hey, someone read this paragraph. They would volunteer, which is really annoying when people volunteer to read and they can't read or they're goofing around. And then halfway through the paragraph, they would accidentally, and I'm doing very big air quotes right now, go back to like talking like a wolf, start growling and barking and whatnot. And when the teacher would be like, what are you doing? They would go, oh, I'm so sorry. My wolf soul must have came through. And it was just really annoying. Like, everyone's trying to pay attention and read in class, and this person's just pretending that they speak dog. Even if you were speaking wolf around real wolves, they would probably look at you and go, what is this weird human doing? I don't think they would instantaneously know what you were saying, but obviously everybody in class was just kind of aware of this person. And they weren't trying to make him feel bad. People weren't messing with them or anything. Sure, was it bizarre? Absolutely. But for the most part, it was more annoying than it was really getting in anyone's way. So it wasn't a big deal. However, they started to talk more and more like an animal and less like a human as the year went on. And it got to the point where they would just kind of bark out loud in the middle of class and howl at things. And obviously, the teacher was not a big fan of this. Like, I feel like teaching a class is already hard enough. People don't want to pay attention. They're not paying attention. But now imagine, on top of already trying to teach people who don't want to be there, you just have one student in particular that is pretending to be an animal growling at you and barking in the middle of your class. So the teacher started to get increasingly fed up with this behavior and started to get a little snappier whenever they would do it. Like, this person would bark in class and the teacher would go, "Okay, that's enough, stop it." Which is kind of hilarious if you think about it. That's probably what you would tell your dog if they were barking too much. Like, "Hey, enough," you know, but the furry would always get mad and be like, "I have the right to express myself." Which, listen, true, you do have the First Amendment right to freedom of speech. However, expressing yourself is kind of limited if it's just disruptive to the class going on. Like, the teacher just can't let that happen. You want to just say you have a wolf soul, no issue. You start barking in the middle of class when they're trying to teach things. At that point, they have the right to tell you to shut up. It doesn't matter what you're saying, barking or not. I feel like if you just started screaming the Pledge of Allegiance out of nowhere in the middle of class, they'd probably tell you to shut up too. But whatever, they would always argue with the teacher, and the teacher just started to get more and more annoyed with it, as I think anyone would in this situation. The first time you have to tell someone to not bark at you, you're probably like, well, I never thought I would have to tell a person to stop barking at me. But by time 15, you're probably so fed up that you're starting to consider bringing a squirt bottle just to train them. Like, "Oh, okay, you want to be a dog? You want to be a dog? All right, we'll see how you really like it. Psst, psst, spray bottle." Either way, the teacher's patience was definitely running thin, and like the interaction started to get a little bit more intense, to the point where the person would bark and the teacher would be like, "You do know you're not an animal, right? You don't have a wolf soul." At first, the teacher had just kind of been okay with letting them do their thing, but now that it was disrupting the class, they were trying to nip it in the bud as much as humanly possible. Except instead of nipping it in the bud, the person would just get insanely defensive about being told that they don't have a wolf soul and get even angrier, and it was just this infinite loop. But one day, there was a new kid who ended up coming into class, and sure enough, the furry guy, in the middle of class while the teacher is teaching and everyone's paying attention, gets up out of his seat, gets down onto all floors like he's gonna crawl somewhere, and starts crawling over to the new kid. And just imagine, it's your first day in a new school. You don't really know what's going on. You're not familiar with much from around here. And in the middle of one of your classes, you look over and you see one of the students crawling over to you on all fours. You'd probably be a little scared. And so when the new person turns around and sees this person crawling towards them, they do what any reasonable person, would do. And they kind of let out a little yell and like, "Ah, what are you doing?" And before anyone even looks, they kind of know who it's going to be. And the teacher says, "Get up off all fours," and says the person's name, like before they even see them. And the furry kind of like sticks their head up and cocks their head to the side the way that a dog does when it hears something. And the teacher goes, "Yes, I'm talking to you. Stop being weird and messing with the new kid," which I have to say is probably not the best language for a teacher to use, but at the same time, when you have someone crawling around on all floors trying to sniff the new kids, like, what else are you gonna say? Anyways, the furry disregards this, gets back down on all fours, walks over, or should I say crawls over, to the new kid and just gives him like a deep whiff on the leg. Which, once again, already creepy enough to be the new kid, but now you have someone crawling towards you on all fours and then just like taking a deep sniff out of your calf. And the new kid, not knowing what's going on, flicks his calf out and kind of like, it doesn't kick the furry in the face, but kind of like, "Get off me." Which, before anyone's like, why would they do that? Imagine someone just crawls up to you and starts sniffing your leg with no explanation. You would probably flick your leg at them too. But the furry yells out something about how like, "Why would you do that?" and tells the teacher that they got kicked in the face. And the teacher, instead of pulling out a taser and tasing the person who just had their legs sniffed, looks at the furry and goes like, "Well, if you weren't crawling around sniffing people's legs, that wouldn't happen." And the furry is like, "You need to punish him. He can't do that, da-da-da-da-da." Which, yeah, I think you can, man. Like, I think if someone gets close enough to you to sniff you when you've told them to stop and, like, they hit you, sure, violence is never the answer, but what do you expect someone to do in that situation? Like, if you're just crawling around smelling strangers, one of them is going to punch you in the face. If you don't expect that to happen, I think you need to go outside more because that's going to happen. And the teacher's not having any of it, and they're like, look, I'm not going to punish this person who's new here because they didn't know what was going on when you crawled up to them on all fours, and started sniffing them. And the furry starts getting mad, but instead of continuing to argue with the teacher, like using any reasoning or any real argumentation whatsoever, they just start going full wolf soul mode, I'm doing air quotes again, and barking at the teacher like, woo, 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 woo. And the teacher doesn't know what to do, so they keep yelling, being like, stop barking at me, I can't understand what you're saying. And the furry is like barking at them and then going back to English and saying, sorry, when I get mad, I only speak dog. Which, listen, all right, if you want to be a furry, like I said, if you just want to like be a furry and not sniff people, that's up to you, man. It's America. But don't pretend that you can talk to dogs, all right? Like, come on. It's already kind of weird to pretend that you're an animal, you know? Like I said, you can do it. It's kind of weird, but you can do it. That's fair. The second you start being like, oh, I speak cat and meowing, expecting cats to really understand you, though, you're losing me. You're really, really losing me. What do you think this is, X-Men or something? Either way, the teacher keeps being like, stop barking at me, and they keep being barked at. And finally, the teacher has enough, and they say that they're going to call the principal, and they can come handle this because they're over it. Which, they've really been trying to solve it for an extended period of time right now anyways, so I can't really blame them for putting in the call. But suddenly, when the principal is going to be called, the furry has a drastic change and can magically talk in English again. Wouldn't you just be so shocked by that? Apparently, they only speak dog when they're angry, but as soon as they're in trouble, they can speak English again. It's almost like they're making the entire thing up. Either way, they start pleading with the teacher, like, no, don't call the principal. They already don't like me. Like, please don't call. I'm just going to get in trouble. Don't do that. Seriously, please. And the teacher just is not going to work with this student whatsoever. They're like, look, this has been a problem for so long, the entire school year. You never listen. You're sniffing people. And on top of that, you're just disrupting the class, barking at me all the time, and you never listen. So I understand that you might have dealt with the principal before, but you've really left me no choice in this situation. And the furry is like, well, you always have a choice. You could just not call the principal. I'm asking you not to. Which, listen, here's my advice to you, Mr. Furry Bro. If you don't want to end up in trouble with the principal, don't constantly interrupt the class. I also would love to know why the principal had beef with him in the first place. Like the last time he was in the principal's office, he peed in the corner or something to mark his territory. Like, why was the principal so angry at this guy already? And the teacher goes through with the call either way and calls and tells them to come get him because he's just being disruptive. She can't teach the class, blah, 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 blah. And now the furry is mad and he gets back down on all floors and starts like scratching the ground, almost like a bull that's about to charge. I didn't know that was a dog thing. But the teacher looks at him and is like, what are you doing? Get up off the ground. And when she says get up off the ground, he gets on all fours and starts bear crawling. Surprisingly fast, probably because he had a lot of practice doing it. Like, no one should be able to bear crawl as fast as this guy did. But I guess if you're literally crawling around everywhere on all fours, I keep doing that, I'm sorry. Technically, he's crawling around on all floors, though. If you're always doing that, you're probably going to get pretty quick at it, you know? Like, I'm sure unicycling is not efficient, but if you forced yourself to unicycle 26 miles a day, you'd probably get pretty quick at it, way quicker than anyone would think. And he charges the teacher in the bear crawl formation, and the teacher only has time to let out a scream of, like, stop, before he bear crawls over there, and all the students see is him just sink his teeth into the teacher's calf. Which is just absolutely bonkers, man. Like, if you want to be a furry, we've been over this, it's America. That being said, don't go around biting people. Are you crazy? Furries already get enough crap. The last thing you would want to do if you're a furry is make people think you're even weirder. And I promise, after they see someone run at their teacher on all fours and bite them, they're gonna think you're pretty weird. And the teacher just lets out like a yelp, more surprised than hurt, really. Just like, ah, you bit me, you bit me. And instead of saying anything in English now, the furry has gone full dog mode apparently, just completed the transformation, gone full werewolf, and just is growling while just like still biting and won't let go. And the teacher is like, let go, let go. And the furry just won't let go and starts to bite down harder. And now the teacher's yells are starting to sound more painful. And so she does what I think is more of a reaction than it is like some well thought out, very well designed plan. She grabs a ruler off her desk and just like smacks the furry in the head. And it doesn't make the furry necessarily pass out or anything, but I think it more surprised them that the fact that the teacher was willing to do something, because they finally let their bite grip go of the teacher's leg. And at that point, the teacher does like another leg push thing, doesn't kick him, but just kind of like pushes the furry away and is like, why did you bite me? What's wrong with you? And now I think the furry is confused because they just start saying that, like, I don't know what came over me. I went full wolf. Yeah, dude, this isn't Twilight, all right? Who do you think you are, Jacob from Twilight? Taylor Lautner himself? I don't think so. I don't think that there's magically some gene inside you that just makes you run around and start biting people. And then you come to and you're like, oh, I don't know what possibly could have happened. Well, you were running around biting people. That's what possibly could have happened. And the teacher's not buying it. Nobody's buying it. And they're like, you're really in trouble now. And so for the next 2 minutes, they're arguing back and forth. The furry trying to say they're not responsible for what happened because they don't know what came over them. It happens sometimes. They go full wolf mode, blah, 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 which is probably not going to be a very good excuse when you get to the principal's office, especially if they know you already. They're like, we've been over this. You're not a wolf. And now you bit a teacher on the leg and like just kept biting them until they hit you with a ruler. And when you were caught, you just tried to say that it wasn't real, it didn't count like an RPG game, or you lost control of yourself. That's not how it works. Also, I'm just saying, if it is true that you are such a furry that you lose control of yourself when you get mad and just start trying to bite people, I don't think you're like safe for normal society. I know 99.9% of people aren't like that, but on the off chance you're out there and you start getting mad and you start being like, I should bite people as hard as I can, that's not normal. You should probably see someone for that, because you're either going to end up in jail when you bite someone and they sue you for assault, or, okay, you're gonna end up in jail for, like, something else, because that's a very weird thing to get the feeling to do. Not once have I ever been looking at someone when I'm really pissed off and been like, I should try to eat them. At that point, though, the security guards show up, and they're like, all right, we gotta go. And he's not happy about it, and he's in the corner, and the guy asks to see the injury on the teacher's leg, so she shows him. And it's a giant bite mark, bro. Like, you can see the molars, to be honest. You probably could have identified him with dental records based on this bite mark. It's just insane. And the security guard can't believe it. He's like, wait, he actually bit you? I thought you were exaggerating. Which I don't know why he would think that. I don't know why a teacher would decide to go with being bitten if they were going to exaggerate, but whatever. And they were like, all right, well, we gotta go. And he's still in the corner, and he doesn't want to go. That much is obvious. So the guard starts to approach him, and as soon as he approaches him, the kid starts growling again. And he starts, like, getting down, looking like he's gonna strike. But before he can even strike, the guard just kind of grabs him. Not in a, like, I'm gonna fight you way, but in just a, like, I'm just gonna pick you up way by the shoulders where his arms are so he can't flail his arms around, and just picked him up. And that goes to show you how big the furry kid was, too, where this guy just grabs him by the shoulders and picks him up. He was also a strong dude and just walks him out of the class. And what was hilarious about that is he was all, like, squatted down, ready to strike, you know, and this guy's method was just, I'm not being bitten by you. I'm not going for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick you up. So whatever, he leaves, takes him to the office. I don't really know what goes down in the office. The person who sent this to me wasn't in the office, but what we do know for sure is he's expelled. I don't really know what you expect to happen at the school if you bite your teacher and leave an insanely large mark on your leg. I think they're just kind of required by law to expel you at that point. And what happened in this particular school district when you got expelled is you got sent to this like behavioral school for all the kids that have been misbehaving. and had gotten expelled, and it was known for being a very rough school because obviously if everyone at the school is there for fighting too much, then it's going to be a very rough place to be. And they knew one kid who had been at their school that had been sent there that they still talked to, and they said that the first day this kid had started doing it again and started biting people. Only difference was, like, no one really fought back too much in that situation other than flicking their leg at him. But when he bit one of the kids at this school, it proceeded to be a furry beatdown. Which, listen, you'd think after getting expelled for biting someone once, you would realize, like, oh, okay, I probably just shouldn't bite people. The fact that he got expelled, got to the school full of people that were way more threatening than the people that he was just at school with, who still expelled him and still thought it was going to end up good, is hilarious to me. Like, all the kids at this school have been expelled from everywhere. I'm gonna bite them. Dude, if biting the teacher that remained calm when you bit them didn't teach you a lesson, biting someone that's been expelled from 5 schools is gonna end with you getting punched in the face, and deservedly so. You can't just walk around biting people, bro. What's wrong with you? I'm surprised they sent him to a behavioral school instead of a kennel, man. Just really could have committed to the whole furry thing. Just send him to like some doggy daycare vibe. Thankfully, the teacher didn't get a scar or anything. That would have been a pretty insane scar. She just has like this bite mark on her leg. Oh my gosh, what happened to your leg? How'd you get that scar? Oh, I'm a teacher. What does that mean? Yeah, well, some crazy kid thought that he had a wolf soul and bit my leg hard enough that I permanently have a scar in the shape of his bite mark on my leg. Not a big fan of it. Either way, I would just not recommend biting your teacher. Definitely a little bit out there, but I knew you guys would enjoy this story. I know it's a little bit shorter than the ones we've been doing recently, but I just had to share it with you guys because I thought it was insane. If you did enjoy the video, I'd really appreciate y'all taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new. Turn on those notifications. If you like watching the story times, but you'd rather listen to an audio version, I do post the audio over on Spotify, link down below. And I've also got a playlist here on YouTube you guys can check out. If you're doing your homework, chores, whatever it may be, and you want to listen to story times, that's a great way to do it. But yeah, on that note, guys, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.